whales migrate northward, toward their summer feeding grounds. They are called humpbacks because of the way they hump their backs when diving. But underwater, their backs are straight. These humpbacks have traveled several thousand kilometers from their winter home in the tropics, where this calf was born about 6 months ago. Nourished by its mother's milk, the calf has acquired enough blubber to withstand the cold water that it now feels for the first time. These whales are traveling silently. Winter in the tropics was the time for singing their haunting songs, but humpbacks seldom sing at other times. Here, in the coastal waters of Alaska, the humpbacks complete their long journey. In these nutrient-rich northern waters, this calf may taste its first solid food. Stimulated by increased nutrients from upwelling and by nearly 24 hours of summer daylight, tiny drifting marine plants reproduce and grow rapidly. These plants, called phytoplankton, are magnified here, but they are actually less than 2 millimeters across. Zooplankton, which are drifting marine animals, feed on the phytoplankton. Some zooplankton, like this jellyfish, are quite large. However, most zooplankton are small, like these darting red shrimp-like animals. They are called euphausids, or krill, and are only a few centimeters long. They sometimes occur in immense swarms. Swimming with its mouth wide open, a humpback can scoop up tens of thousands of krill at once. Its mouth can expand into an enormous pouch because of pleats or folds, which appear on this calf as a series of white grooves. Other baleen whales can also expand their mouths greatly. The mouth of this blue whale is so full of water that it looks like a giant tadpole. Instead of teeth, humpbacks, blues, and other baleen whales have a tough, flexible filter which hangs down from the roof of the mouth and fits into the lower lip. The filter is made of up to 800 plates, which are brush-like on the inside. The brushes overlap to form this fine, bristly filter, which is called baleen. This humpback is expelling water through its baleen filter. Animals too large to pass through the baleen stay inside. Many kinds of zooplankton and other small animals are eaten by baleen whales. Zooplankton also provide food for multitudes of small fish. In turn, the small fish are eaten by larger animals, like this small shark, called a dogfish. Small fish are also eaten by humpback whales. This humpback is diving for fish. Now it surfaces with mouth wide open. The mouth closes like giant scissors. Humpbacks may trap both krill and small fish by swimming in a large circle and blowing bubbles. The bubbles rising to the surface look like a net. Small schooling fish inside the bubble net may be afraid to swim through. From the surface, the bubble net looks like this. The feeding humpback lunges up through the center, surfacing with mouth still open. An adult humpback may eat about a ton of food a day. It may reach a length of 15 meters, or about 50 feet, and weigh about 40 tons. After heavy feeding, humpbacks may rest for a while, or even sleep on the surface. Other baleen whales, like the blue and fin, are even larger than the humpback. The great size of baleen whales may be related to their ability to feed directly on the abundance of small organisms found in nutrient-rich areas of the ocean. Other large sea creatures are also filter feeders. This basking shark swims slowly through the water, mouth wide open. Water passes out through its gill slits, leaving the tiny plankton behind. The basking shark may be as long as 14 meters, or about 45 feet. Although not found in northern waters, the manta ray, a relative of the shark, feeds in the same manner as does the basking shark. The wingspan of the manta ray may reach 7.5 meters, or about 25 feet. Like all other fish, rays and sharks obtain oxygen from water through their gills. But whales are not fish. They are mammals. Although a humpback can hold its breath for about 30 minutes, it still must surface to breathe. The whale breathes through a blowhole on top of its head. A splash guard in front of the blowhole helps keep out water when the whale inhales. When the whale exhales, spray rises as high as 6 meters, or 20 feet. Does the water condense from vapor blown from the whale's lungs? Or perhaps some of it does. But most of the spray comes from water covering the blowhole. Here, water flows over the blowhole of a resting humpback and is blasted into a fine spray. Humpbacks do a number of interesting things on the surface. This balancing act is extremely rare. First, a flipper, and now a waving fluke, as this calf rolls on the surface. Is this the Loch Ness Monster? No, it's only the flipper of another humpback whale. Humpbacks often jump out of the water or breach. Sometimes they hit the water with their flukes. This is called lobtailing, or tail lobbing. And sometimes they slap the surface with their flippers. Activities like flipper flopping, tail lobbing, and breaching all make big splashes and loud sounds, which carry a long way in water. We don't really know why humpbacks do any of these things. Perhaps to announce location, to show excitement or anger, or perhaps, sometimes, just to knock off barnacles. But we are fairly certain that when humpbacks head thrust, like this, it is often to see what's going on at the top of their world. This whale is spy hopping in order to get an even better look at the topside scenery. Some types of humpback behavior may serve to confuse predators. This humpback blows underwater. It surfaces without sound or spray, and quickly submerges. Sometimes, humpbacks blow dense clouds of bubbles, which may form a protective screen. But this whale is blowing only a few bubbles, perhaps to show excitement or irritation. Here, a humpback blows bubbles as it swims along. From the air, the bubbles look like long streamers. The humpback has few predators besides man. One predator is the orca, or killer whale. The orca is not a baleen whale. It has big teeth and sometimes kills and eats large animals, like this timid harbor seal. In these northern feeding grounds, orcas seldom bother humpbacks, although they are often seen in the same area. Still, the damaged fluke of this humpback could be due to an orca attack. Summer is ending. The days are growing shorter. The sun is seldom seen. After a long summer of feeding, the humpbacks start their long migration to the tropics. A migration that has probably been repeated for hundreds of thousands of years. Only man has threatened to interrupt it. Centuries ago, more than 100,000 humpbacks may have roamed the seas. Today, only about 7,000 humpbacks survive throughout the entire world. However, with the growing trend toward protection of the humpbacks and the other great whales, there is still hope that our lives will continue to be enriched by what Herman Melville called the most gamesome and light-hearted of all whales.